Let's talk about the first round selection on a team that is 5-1, the New York Giants. Who would have thought? Let's talk about Kayvon Thibodeaux. He had a big game in this one. Again, maybe not a superstar game. He's definitely a rookie. You do see that, but he's making plays and he's already been in year one, been a solid contributor. And in a year where there was kind of three big edge rushers with Aiden Hutchinson, Trayvon Walker, and Kayvon Thibodeaux. I think Hutchinson's been disappointing so far, although he did have that 3-sack game. Trayvon Walker's been exactly who we thought he would. He could do a lot of nice things, but pass rushing isn't really one of them. Right off the bat, Thibodeaux has looked like the most complete pass rusher through a very small sample size. Let's talk about how he played against Baltimore. We're going to start off with this play. He's going up one-on-one against a tight end for Baltimore. So, okay, a matchup you do expect to win. That's reasonable to say. Edge rusher against tight end, that's a mismatch. But right when this play begins, you see how one of the things he does very effectively is his explosiveness at the line can cause guys to not get the hand placement they desire. You see that the tight end for Baltimore, look at his left hand. It's a little bit tough to tell from this angle, but his left hand is currently basically on Trayvon Walker's face, which it's actually not going to get called a penalty if you get rid of it right away. If you kind of accidentally touch someone's helmet but then move really quickly, the refs don't typically call those. So, I guess you could, but that's just not something that you would typically do. So for Josh Oliver, who should be mentioned, has been a really good blocking tight end for the Ravens so far this season. So it's not like you're going up against some scrub tight end. But because of Thibodeaux's explosiveness, it puts you in just a difficult position to try and block him, even if you are a better blocking tight end. Because of this, Thibodeaux gets around him. He's able to, look like he's in a good position for a second until Lamar Jackson gets out of it. I mean, listen, that's Lamar Jackson. He's going to do that stuff to you. If you're going up against him, it is what it is. You kind of just have to say, okay, well, I tried my best. So I'm not mad at him or anything like that for not being able to finish off that play. It was a great pocket presence from Lamar. He does that. But, again, showing some nice things, right? Especially for a guy who's barely played in the NFL. Going over here, one of the always fascinating things about playing the Ravens, if you're an edge rusher, is the whole fact that the Ravens love to run plays that you see on the screen. They love to run these option plays where the quarterback can keep it himself and run up the middle, or you can give it to J.K. Dobbins, who's running to the outside. This always puts the edge rusher in a difficult position. But what Thibodeaux's job is on this play is he has to make sure that if it is a handoff to Dobbins, he is able to be in position to make the tackle. That's what he has to try and make sure he does here. Right when this play begins, he's doing a relatively good job, but this is a tough situation. I think a lot of lesser edge rushers could let Dobbins get by him. Dobbins can do that to you. You have to be very careful. And so because of this, you're definitely going to see Thibodeaux run as fast as he can to the right side of the screen. Thibodeaux does. Dobbins tries to juke him, but cannot quite get it done. Thibodeaux is able to make a quick tackle. So good play there by Thibodeaux. Again, definitely someone who can be effective in both the pass and the run game. That's something he was able to do in college very well, and it's something he's doing here very well. This one's another, I think, notable play. So he's going to be going up one-on-one against a left tackle here. And again, for the Ravens, their left tackle, pretty good. Ronnie Stanley, who is, one of the better tackles in football. So this is definitely a big-time matchup, certainly. As you see, they engage right here, and Thibodeaux has to make sure he's the Canadian guy right here, right? So you can't let the halfback get in position where he can get outside the pocket. So you have to make sure that you're watching that. You want to funnel things to the middle. Ideally, you don't want to let anyone get to the outside. That's definitely one of the more important things. And Kenyon Drake here has what seems to be a huge window, right? This feels like he could be gone for a ton of yards. However, Thibodeaux is able to reach out and still be able to make the tackle. It was a decent run. You're not mad at that if you're Baltimore, but it could have been disastrous if it wasn't for the good tackle at the end there by Thibodeaux, in my opinion. To be honest, I'm definitely showing the highlights and the noteworthy plays in this one. There were plenty of plays that just not that much noteworthy happened with Thibodeaux, which is kind of the case of evaluating edge rushers in general. More often than not, an edge rusher loses. An edge rusher tends to, if you get one or two good plays a game, that can sometimes be a great game. That's just kind of the nature of being an edge rusher. You lose, 90% of the time. You're a great player. That's just the nature of the position. But the way this play works, it's actually going to be a stunt, so he's going to end up going over to be near the guard. Look at how when this play begins, he gets over. He's going to, engage right here with the guard, but okay, at this point, what's this pass rush move going to be? What's he going to try to do to get to Lamar Jackson? Lamar throws the ball in. He never really has a chance. There's just, Thibodeaux basically didn't play on that play, right? Because sometimes, if the ball gets out quickly, doesn't matter what the edge rushers do, you're not getting there to make the tackle. So this is constantly something that happens with, just teams in general when you play the Ravens, is the Ravens know how to frustrate edge rushers. They know how to take edge rushers out of the game, and we definitely saw that, not just on this play, but a lot of times there was only so much he could do. But we all remember one play where he really came through. Right over here, game on the line, Kayvon Thibodeaux is going to be going up one-on-one against a tackle right here. And listen, like I said, you get one or two big plays, you had a good game. Well, he got one or two big plays, none bigger than this one. It's a 2nd down and 10. The Giants are up 4 points. There's a minute 40 left in the game. And so, watch what happens. Thibodeaux takes a snap. He's going to kind of just try a bit of a swipe move over there, it looked like, against the tackle who he's going up against. This is now the right tackle, which is Patrick McCarry. I'm not sure how you pronounce his name, but he's, his numbers are solid so far this season, so good stuff by him. Thibodeaux is in an interesting position where he definitely was able to get closer to the outside. It's almost like a speed rush type move, despite the fact that he did engage in contact right away. So that was kind of fascinating by him. But watch him basically just do the same move again, and he's able to knock the ball out of Lamar Jackson's hands. The Ravens somehow do not fall on that. The Giants do instead, and the Giants win the football game. So, hey, getting the game-clinching sack, that's worth a first-round pick right there. There's no denying that. So, again, I think you want to see a little bit more consistency from Thibodeaux before you're really willing to sit here and say, okay, yeah, he looks like a dominant pass rusher. Because no, he doesn't look like a dominant pass rusher yet, but he looks like a valuable pass rusher right away, and he's so young, and he was someone who, kind of the narrative about all these pass rushers was that Aiden Hutchinson was the technician who isn't as good of an athlete, even though he actually is a great athlete. But that was the narrative with him. Walker, the narrative was he is this guy who's just a remarkable athlete, but doesn't quite have the technique down. But then for Thibodeaux, I always feel like he's someone who is also a remarkable athlete who doesn't really have the technique down, but still wins. He was still getting wins in college and still being productive in college. And so if he can get some more technique down, he could easily end up being the best edge rusher out of this draft class. So far, he has been through a small sample size, which is, Giants fans feeling pretty good about that. So, yeah, a lot of stuff to like about Thibodeaux. Again, is there room for improvement? Of course there's room for improvement with Thibodeaux, but he's playing very well, and that's what you hope to see him continue to do, is just continue to play well, continue to improve. And again, I don't know how healthy he is, too, because he came back from injury, so that's also a very fascinating thing. Is he in football shape yet? I don't know. So just, really interesting stuff there with Thibodeaux. But yeah, that's what I think. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. What are your thoughts on Thibodeaux and his performance? How do you feel about him? And how do you feel about all the rookie tackles, really, in general? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.